Angeles along the Miracle Mile, 1027.
Replacing your teeth with a dental implant GPS Smile is about more than just teeth.
I get emotional. I start losing my teeth. I'm too young for that. I'm very thankful because this really changes a person's life.
Teeth is what we do, but at the end of the day, that's not really what it's about. It's about patient's confidence.
DentalImplantsGPS.com provides people with missing teeth, failing teeth, or unstable dentures full mouth dental implants. Call 800-863-9300 today.
I want people to know this really changes your life.
The approach that we take towards patients is one of guidance. The patient is the center of our universe. That's why our name is Dental Implants GPS, because we guide patients along this journey to their better future, to their newfound confidence.
Don't wait. Call Dental Implants GPS and get your free educational book with important dental implant information. Call 800-863-9300. That's 800-863-9300.
Let's get your house sold with Wedgwood Homes. Read a story just the other day, way more sellers than buyers out there. So let's get the stress-free alternative. The place you need to go is Wedgwood Homes because they can get you an all-cash offer. Yeah, forget the repairs, forget the traditional process, forget having to stand out in a market where it's harder than ever to stand out. Just sell the easy way, Wedgwood Homes. Yeah, are you in Covina, maybe Hawthorne, Whittier, or really anywhere around Southern California? Wedgwood Homes, actively buying right now. And they can do it fast. They can close in as little as 3 days. They've got the reviews online. Wedgwood Homes, they've earned the reputation as a trusted home buyer because they stick with you through the whole process. They're using the state contracts, so they value that transparency. And the offer doesn't change. Once they do that walkthrough and they give you the number, they're not going to walk it back. No, the number's the number. So call now. It's a no-obligation all-cash offer from Wedgwood Homes. 800-781-9600. 800-781-9600. Selling as is. You got some tough rentals. You inherited a place. You need some cash. The answer is Wedgwood Homes. 800-781-9600. WedgwoodHomes.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its green funding.
Ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirts. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need it.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Downtown LA Law Group Injury Help Studios.
This is Southern California's news.
KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Brian Wilson, the visionary leader of the Beach Boys, the giant of modern music, has died. 82 years old, he's been in failing health for some time. His family posted the news on social media this morning, asking for their privacy, but saying they are grieving, and they grieve with the world. They say there is just no words for their loss. He was born locally. Brian Wilson was in Inglewood, formed the Beach Boys with his brothers, Dennis and Carl, and their cousin Mike Love, and a high school friend, Mel Jardine. Brought us the sounds of summer classics like Fun, 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 Surfing USA, California Girls, Little Goose Coop, and so many more. Wilson then revolutionized the band's sound with the release of Pet Sound that was considered a flop, but later inducted into the Library of Congress's National Recording Registry. Brian Wilson dead at the age of 86. All right, the protest now. The curfew is going to be back in effect in downtown Los Angeles tonight. The LAPD confirming that. And the mayor of Los Angeles will be out with other local leaders again, calling today for an end to federal immigration enforcement. And the presence here in Los Angeles is the National Guard and Marines that are on standby. The White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt talking about this morning, the ongoing protests and the ICE raids. She had this to say during her briefing.
Democrats like Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass shamefully failed to meet their sworn obligations to their citizens. They didn't have the courage to do the right thing and protect law-abiding Californians from rioters. That's why President Trump deployed the National Guard and mobilized Marines to end the chaos and restore law and order. The mob violence is being stomped out. Criminals responsible will be swiftly brought to justice. And the Trump administration's operations to arrest illegal aliens are continuing unabated.
The Attorney General said earlier, Pam Bondi, today that they are not afraid to go further, although she didn't indicate that they would. There's a hearing tomorrow on the subject of the National Guard and whether it was legal to call them up. The Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, has been speaking at a congressional hearing today, and a Democratic senator from Hawaii asked him if what's happening here in Los Angeles with the federal troops being sent in could happen in other parts of the country. Here's his response.
Part of it is getting ahead of a problem. So that if in other places, if there are other riots in places where law enforcement officers are threatened, we would have the capability to surge National Guard there if necessary. And thankfully, in most of those states, you'd have a governor that recognizes the need for it, supports it, and mobilizes it him or herself. In California, unfortunately, the governor wants to play politics with it.
The Marines are just kind of on standby, as we said, at this point, currently training in Seal Beach. A military spokesman said they will not be deployed today. Over to Westwood now, and our Karen Adams, who was at this federal building this morning where the U.S. attorney here in Los Angeles was talking about federal charges against some protesters who got violent in L.A. and Paramount. Karen, what's the latest?
Vicki, there's viral video of both of these men accused today with Molotov cocktails in hand. Now, last Saturday during the unrest in Paramount, Emiliano Galvez threw the explosive cocktail at sheriff's deputies, then ran away before being arrested. Now, the next day, Racky Quigley of Long Beach is accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at officers in downtown L.A.
Officers witnessed him throw the device in the air and then arrested him with a lighter in his right hand.
Now, U.S. Attorney Bill Staley says the two are facing 10 years in federal prison if convicted.
You have the right to peacefully protest. No one's going to stop you. But as soon as you cross that line into violence, you're throwing stuff, you're throwing rocks, you're throwing bombs. That's unacceptable. It will not be tolerated, and we're going to come down with a really heavy hand. And this isn't state court. This is federal court. So you're going to go to federal prison.
DHS says Galvez is in the country illegally and had been previously deported in 2024. He was arrested by Anaheim police for grand theft and for DUI in Long Beach. Now, right now, at least 12 people have been federally charged in relation to the protests and righteous behavior so far. And as Staley says, Vicki, more charges against others are coming.
More charges are coming, more arrests being made. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, the first night of the curfew seemed to work. A lot of agreement about that. Here's John Baird.
The curfew took effect at 8 p.m. and continued until 6 a.m. this morning over a small 1 square mile area of downtown Los Angeles where most of the demonstrations have been going on for the past 5 days or so. There's been a lot of vandalism and graffiti everywhere on walls and buildings, and some stores have been looted. A woman visiting her mother in Little Tokyo says she believes the curfew was effective last night.
You know, last night's a lot quieter than the night before. So, yeah, and also I just feel like it's kind of petering down naturally.
Some people were unhappy with the curfew, though, and don't think it'll do much to deter those bent on causing trouble.
Honestly, what I think about it is just nonsense. Because the people are not going to respect that at the end of the day. People are still going to do whatever they want to do.
It's still not clear how long the curfew will remain in effect. The mayor plans to meet with law enforcement officials to determine that. In downtown L.A., I'm John Baird, KNX News 97.1 FM.
You may not know how long it's going to last, but we do know that it's going to happen again tonight. 8P to 6A, so just be aware of that. 10:35 back to Sabina Mora in the Simpson Chevrolet Traffic Center.
All right, and the drive into downtown Los Angeles on the 110 northbound, I see some leftover sewing from the morning commute from Adams on that 110. It has been tough. I heard Brian saying a lot of pressure on the 110, and that's true. It's still busy over to the 101 connectors. Again, the 101 off-ramp still blocked off between the 110 and Mission. This is both sides of the freeway, so 4th Street will be the first off-ramp you can use if you're trying to get into the downtown stretch. Now, on the westbound side of the 10, right at La Brea, that was a car that ran out of gas back in the far left lane. I still see they're waiting for help. The backup is Arlington, and then just busy traffic heading further westbound to the 405 connector. There was a crash on the northbound 405 at Pico just before you get to Santa Monica Boulevard. The car is now off the freeway, but the slowdown is still there. Kind of busy leaving Century, Inglewood northbound to Ladera Heights, and all the way through to the 10 connector road. The southbound traffic on the 405 starting to ease up a bit. near Western. That was a car that broke down, but southbound 405 is moving nicely now from the 110 over to the 710 connector.
All week long, KNX News has been bringing you conversations with high school seniors before they get their diplomas, views on all sorts of things. And today's KNX News Grad Week series, our Margaret Guerrero asks a simple question. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't want to sell anything, buy anything, or process anything as a career. I don't want to sell anything bought or processed, buy anything sold or processed, or process anything sold, bought, or processed, or repair anything sold, bought, or processed. You know, as a career, I don't want to do that.
John Cusack's Lloyd Dobler clearly didn't have it figured out in Say Anything, but our soon-to-be high school graduates on this KNX News Grad Week special were a bit more focused. Some of our grads were simply worried about figuring out college first, like Ryan, who's headed to Brown, while others, like Yolani, bound for Stanford, know exactly what they want to do.
For me, honestly, thinking about careers has been something I've been really trying to grasp with, and I don't really have a clear picture yet, but I have interest in medicine, engineering, business, music, and so it's there's so many things that I want to do, but I don't know which one I should commit to, and so at Brown I'm looking forward to just taking a variety of courses and finding which ones really fit me, and then pursuing that later on.
So maybe you can be all of them.
Yeah.
So why not? Why don't you put yourself right?
Yeah. I want to be a plumber.
Really?
Yeah. That's always been my dream.
Oh, nice. Go chase that dream.
Yeah, since 8th grade.
Do you guys worry at all about the state of the economy, or are you just kind of
all the time
focused on your journey?
No.
It'll blow over.
No. I mean, I just had this conversation with my doctor. She was like, "Oh, so you're driving?" I'm like, "No." And this is state of the economy. She's like, "Why are you worrying about that?" I'm like, "Because I'm entering the world. I need to."
Yolani might be onto something there when she encouraged Ryan to try a little bit of everything. I talked with Stacey Holler, Chief Career Advisor at Resume Builder. She says there is still potential to turn your passion into a career.
I think if everybody kind of figures out where is your skill set, what is your passion, what do you want to grow and learn, what are you good at, there are ways of figuring out the right path for you, and then don't worry about the other pieces. I tell people, don't worry about the economy. You only need that one job for you that's right.
Enter Emily, an LAUSD graduate who is off to Harvard in the fall with plans to follow her passion with a pinch of political activism thrown in.
Planning to be a government major at Harvard with a pre-law track. So recently, of course, with all the Harvard news, they're spotlighted every single day now, especially against the Trump administration. So I feel like that also was a pivotal reason as to why I picked Harvard. Just seeing them stand up to a cause made me think okay, Harvard Law, I want to become a lawyer, and I want to be one of those people who stand up against a institution that's against someone that I feel like many consider corrupt. I'm allowed to say that.
So yeah. Given that back and forth between Trump and Harvard and what's going on, that's what caused you to want to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had an option between Yale and Harvard, and just I was so inspired to see someone take action, and that almost pushed me towards a law path of this is what I want to do in the future. And I want to be the one standing up for the little guy.
On the one hand, today's high school graduates are heading out to college and a workforce that's radically different from their parents and grandparents. But there are some things that are timeless, it seems. We all still want to get paid well doing the things we love. So to the class of 2025, go on and chase those passions and dreams. We'll be right here, rooting you on all the way. I'm Margaret Guerrero, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Tune in to KNX News 97.1 FM tomorrow as we turn our focus to the dating lives of teenagers in the age of social media. 1041.
Mike Simpson here for Downtown LA Group Accident and Injury Attorneys. If you have had an auto accident, slip and fall, any kind of negligence injury, or if you've been the victim of an assault, it is now easier than ever to get the injury help you need. You just got to call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's top injury law firm. They do a great job for their clients. They've got over $1 billion in injury settlements to prove it, $1 billion, and they're available anytime you need them, 24/7. Free case review, and you pay nothing unless you win. Just text injury help. That's injury help Help to 40222. If you were injured because of somebody else's negligence or abuse, to get the help you need, call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group Accident and Injury Attorneys, and they really want to stress, any time of the day or night, KNX listeners, they are here for you. Injury help, just that one text away. Injury help to 40222. Injury help 40222. Or just type calldowntown.com into the search bar. They know it's a stressful time. They know it can be overwhelming. They're here to help you. Injury help to 40222 or calldowntown.com. Wow, what a window.
California Deluxe windows.
Potato chip guy?
Yes, custom fit. No broken stucco.
Warranty?
No fine print.
Cost?
30% off our entire order.
Wow. Bedroom windows?
You bet.
Hi, I'm Aaron, founder of California Deluxe Windows. We have been improving homes and marriages for almost 25 years. We custom fit every window and door to your home's exact measurement. Our installation technique is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
Love is in the air. Buy 5 windows, get 1 free during our summer sale. Call California Deluxe Windows. 800-918-5100. 800-918-5100. That's 800-918-5100. Or go to cdwindows.com. Terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
Mike Simpson here, and your hair is thinning. Your crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling like you're not you. You lost that identity. Thankfully, we got the fix. It's Advanced Hair, the simple one-day treatment. You decide how much and how thick and where. This is your own natural hair. It begins regrowing the very next day, and it is guaranteed to grow for the rest of your life. Advanced Hair has helped tens of thousands of people just like you. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's 844-333-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Ralph's and Food for Less shoppers, please join us in supporting Project Angel Food, which delivers medically tailored meals daily to over 2,800 critically ill people across LA County. Next time you shop this month, please round up at the register. Your donation makes a real difference. Then join Ralph's and Food for Less as they host a community million meal pack event on June 27th at the Queen Mary, packing 1 million meals for wildfire victims. Visit mealpack.org to register to volunteer and get free admission to the Queen Mary. Let's unite to fight hunger and support those in need.
Stop struggling to get your job posting on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Good morning, I'm Vicki Moore. Some of the stories we're following for you on KNX News 97.1 FM. Elon Musk said he had regrets about that back and forth with President Trump. He posted that on X, but apparently the story's coming out today that they had a little private meeting before he posted that to X. And we're going to talk about the ICE operations in Los Angeles and Southern California after we get another check on your... We're going to get another check on your drive around Southern California with Sabina Mora.
Yes, Vicki, I'm going to start with this new hazard, unfortunately involving a big rig, which means it could be here a while. Eastbound 60 at Nogales, it's the far right lane that's blocked off. And again, they're asking for a tow, so heavy-duty tow. So it could be some time, and it is backed up solid from Azusa. So instead of taking the 60 eastbound from the 605, you can take the 10 eastbound through West Covina. Now, reminder, there's a street advisory. This is road work happening. Colima Road near Hacienda Boulevard that's causing some extra congestion on that westbound side. So that's not a good alternate for you if you normally take Colima instead of hopping on a freeway. The other surface street alternate that you could possibly use is the Gale Avenue. That'll take you a bit further westbound on the 60. And as far as eastbound traffic at Valley Boulevard, that has to clear, so not too bad if you want to take that over to the 57 Connector Road. Traffic on the northbound 405 still clogged up from Florence all the way through to the 10, but the crash just before Santa Monica Boulevard moved out of the way. And on the other side of the freeway, on the 405 heading southbound to the 101, there's a new crash. The carpool lane is blocked off. That's in Sherman Oaks. The backup already busy from Victory. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5 from the Simpson Chevrolet 24-hour traffic center.
Highs for the coast will be in the low 70s from now through Friday, then warming up to the mid-70s for the weekend. Low 80s through the end of the week for LA and Orange County with mid-80s as we head into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. For the valleys, low 90s today, dropping to the upper 80s by the end of the week. By the weekend, though, we're looking at
Mid-90s for Father's Day Sunday. Low 90s for the Inland Empire through Friday, and then by Father's Day Sunday, upper 90s. Upper 90s for the high desert today, cooling just a little bit to the mid-90s by the end of the week. By Sunday, we're looking at triple-digit heat again. For the mountains, low 80s today, upper 70s tomorrow, and then swinging right back up into the 80s for the weekend. That's your next weather forecast. I'm KCAL News meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX News 97.1 FM.
We're just learning that the U.S. is preparing to order the departure of non-essential staff from the embassy in Baghdad. So the news coming out of Iraq, they say this is over regional tension. Now, that's all we've got so far, but as we get more, we'll pass it along. And there's word that the judge in the Diddy case is considering maybe excusing one of the jurors. A couple of stories we're watching for you here on KNX. Tough tactics we've seen from ICE agents in Southern California, reportedly part of a bigger plan from the Trump administration. That's according to the Wall Street Journal, linking the approach to the presidential advisor, Stephen Miller. KNX News spoke with reporter Elizabeth Findell, and she says ICE agents are now showing up in helmets and vests, covering their faces, not showing ID.
Some of it has been due to specific changes in policy, like that agents no longer need to stick to their target list. They can arrest anyone they encounter who may be in the country illegally. Sensitive locations like courtrooms, schools, hospitals are no longer off limits. And then we've also seen changes that have come about, I think, in a more somewhat grassroots level, like agents preferring to keep their faces covered and no one is stopping them from doing that. And some of these really high battle gear type of optics.
Some have said, though, that the agents are also having their information put out publicly. She says the Trump administration has pushed for even more force.
And then we had, a few weeks ago, Stephen Miller, top White House aide, gather a lot of ICE officials at the headquarters and tell them that they weren't deporting enough people, and they really needed to get the message that they shouldn't be sticking to just criminals, and they didn't need to do the target list that they've always done, that they should just go out and arrest people, and they should arrest anyone who is in the country illegally. He said, why don't you go to Home Depot, and why don't you go to 7-Eleven? And, you know, lo and behold, we saw them in LA out at Home Depot. It is all part of the Trump administration's broader strategy of wanting to send a really strong message on this subject and wanting optics of heavy force.
Findell rode along with some agents in Texas and talking about why some of the agents cover their faces. She says many of them feel under attack and are worried about being reported or publicly identified.
I don't know that all ICE agents have an anti-immigrant attitude, but most of the agents that I've met are true believers in the mission of doing their job and removing people who have been, you know, who are on their list to be removed or who are in the country illegally. They have told me, several agents, that they feel like their hands were tied in certain ways under the Biden administration, and now they feel like they're able to do their jobs more. And they defend the use of masks and things like that because they say that people are threatening them and that everyone's trying to take their videos now and put them online and dox them.
That is reporter Elizabeth Findell commenting on the current immigration effort here in Southern California. 10:50, let's get a check on your money right now with Bloomberg. Tom Busby.
Cheaper prices at the gas pump and a lot of companies choosing to not pass along tariff costs to consumers, at least not yet. That led to a softer than forecast read on inflation last month, rising just 0.1% from April, up 2.8% from May of last year. And that, with the U.S. and China saying both countries have agreed to a framework of a trade deal, stocks this hour are higher. Right now, the Dow is up a little more than 0.5%. The NASDAQ up about 0.1%. The S&P 500 1/4% higher. DoorDash is buying the advertising tech firm Symbiosis for $175 million to bolster its advertising business, which currently generates more than $1 billion a year from restaurants and consumer brands. And the donut giant Krispy Kreme is now out of the cookie business. It's selling its remaining stake in the Insomnia cookie chain for $75 million. Krispy Kreme says it's going to use that money to pay down its massive debt load. I'm Bloomberg's Tom Busby from the Just One Touch Money Desk on KNX News 97.1 FM.
High school isn't always easy.
Dating right now just kind of sucks for everybody.
It can be awkward as kids become young adults.
These like new technologies that are popular now. That's like
All this week is Grad Week 2025 on KNX News.
People are so inexperienced and then they think they know everything and then they just play all of these games.
We'll talk about what happens after graduation. Grad Week 2025 on KNX News 97.1 FM.
Thanks, Dad, for all the wisdom you've passed down to me that I promised to start using someday. And now the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Father's Day freebie. Dads get a slick mechanical pencil free on Father's Day.
Number 4.
Push Pops Pressure Point. Save $40 on a 50-minute deep tissue massage and aromatherapy at Sage Spa.
3.
Billy Gardell, live July 12th. Get tickets now.
And the number 2.
Extreme Gift Giveaway. Get an HD Eternal drone when you earn 500 points on your rewards card, the 17th.
And the number 1 reason.
Be Dad's favorite. Take him to Cielo for a 3-course dry-aged ribeye dinner for a special price on Father's Day.
Morongo, the best casino resort in the Southland. Good times.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically like hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off, you know. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-966-3144. That's 800-966-3144. 800-966-3144.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Video and Audio Center for dads and grad deals with free setup, and we pay the tax. See store for details.
10:54. Going to get another check on your drive with Sabina coming up in just a minute. Live Nation is expanding.
Live Nation says it's building 18 new concert venues across the country. Everything from small clubs to large outdoor amphitheaters. The company says they'll open over the next year and a half at a cost of $1 billion. Live Nation already has 150 venues. The new projects are built as a way to reach smaller markets. Places like Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Virginia Beach are on the list, but so are larger cities like Atlanta, Denver, and Seattle. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
That's a great story. What's bold, and coming to a stadium near you?
There's a new phenomenon on the tour circuit.
I'm on fire.
Pixel fans are covering up their hair with new latex bulb caps, using liquid eyeliner to draw on goatees, and slipping into dark suit jackets before they finish off the looks with aviator shades and head out to concerts.
I've never seen so many beautiful, bald, and sexy people in one place.
The rapper acknowledging his lookalikes at London's O2 Arena this week. He's cashing in with a $20 kit that comes with a bald cap and a bow tie. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
If you see the TikToks or the piece they did in the New York Times, really funny. Great video and photos of the people showing up in those outfits.
Wow.
10:55 to Sabina we go for a check on your drive. She's brought to you by Mosley Wealth Management.
All right, Vicki, I do have a reminder here. If you're trying to get into downtown Los Angeles off the 101 freeway, you cannot exit the freeway. The off-ramps are blocked off again in both directions between the 110 and Mission, and the first off-ramp you can use is going to be 4th Street as you head towards the East LA interchange. Now, unfortunately, we have a new little fender bender right on the 101 freeway, north end of Alameda. Not a good spot. It's in a center divider, and they are waiting for help. But again, northbound 101 at Alameda. Now there's a crash. That's going to tie things up. The other hot spot, big problem, is on the 60. This is Hacienda Heights, Roland Heights. Now, there's a crash of the semi eastbound, and that is really clogging things up before you get to Azusa. But now we have a brand new crash on the westbound side of the freeway at Nogales, a 4-car crash. Thank you, Trucker Dave from Almonte. Thank you, Gianni from West Covina for calling in. In this case, please take the 10 between the 605 and 57. That's the better-looking freeway. How much do you have for retirement in your tax-deferred accounts, whether it's $100,000 or several million? You'll pay real taxes when you need it. Go to eastmytaxbill.com. Find out how much money you really have, how much you may save if you're smart. eastmytaxbill.com. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5s from the Simpson Chevrolet 24-hour traffic center.
Supposed to be warm and a nice weekend ahead. And we've got 69 degrees in Los Angeles.
You have worked too hard to risk your future on outdated advice. And let's be honest, driving across LA just to meet a financial advisor, that's a thing of the past. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and we bring real fiduciary advice straight to you, virtually. No office visits, no investment commissions, no fluff. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors put your best interests first, always. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. The more you make, the more we make. That's how it should be. Whether you're in Brentwood, Burbank, or Baja, we're right there with you for investments, tax planning, and much more. Trajan Wealth is built for your life now, not the one you had 10 years ago. Let us create your personalized plan. Schedule your free virtual consultation now. Call Trajan Wealth today at 310-905-5030. 310-905-5030. Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Connected TV is one of the most effective channels for driving measurable advertising results. That's because when your customers stop scrolling, they're streaming. Let Viant put your ads right where they are, on the best content, across the most premium platforms in the world. We're talking real consumers, big screens, big outcomes. With Viant, you get people-based targeting, AI-powered performance, and full access to inventory built to seize eyeballs, not clickbait. Viant, where premium streaming meets performance. Visit ViantInc.com/CTV to unlock real results today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
You always want to know about everyone else's money. On the podcast, What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 for the blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
KNX FM and HD Los Angeles.
This is Southern California's news.
Good morning, I'm Rob Archer. One of the giants of modern music has died, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. Mayor Bass says the curfew downtown works, and there's video of a pregnant American citizen being arrested by ICE. All these stories and lots more on the way.
Only on KNX News 97.1 FM.
It's 11 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. A musician who helped define summer in the 1960s has died. Brian Wilson of the legendary Beach Boys. Jim Taylor reports.
Round, round, get around, I get around. Yeah. Brian Wilson, singer, songwriter, record producer, co-founder of the Beach Boys, who created a Southern California beach sound all day long. They wrote songs about girls and cars and surfing.
And yes, I never surfed, I never tried. I drove myself, I wanted a perfectionist, you know.
He drove himself nearly crazy into a deep depression and out of the band he created. Recorded for years as a solo artist, but never achieved the heights of his early dreams. Jim Taylor, CBS News.
President Trump said today a trade deal has been reached with China. It still needs formal approval, but our Ed O'Keefe has a breakdown of the details.
U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods will be 55%, while Chinese tariffs on American products will be set at 10%. White House aides tell us this morning those levels are what they are for now, but could change again. The president also says necessary rare earth materials, which has been a major point of contention, will be exported up front by China. And among the things Beijing gets in return are assurances that Chinese students can keep attending American colleges and universities.
Inflation rose last month, but just barely. Cheaper cars and gas offset some other costly items. Here's Jill Schlesinger.
Meat, poultry, fish, and eggs, your favorite proteins, were down 0.4% month over month. But eggs are still up 41.5% from a year ago. Those prices should start to moderate.
In California, law enforcement officials have announced federal criminal charges against protesters. U.S. Attorney Bill Assaley.
The defendants charged in the complaints are accused of throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers and sheriff deputies who were called in to restore order after two demonstrations against federal immigration enforcement turned violent.
Things were calmer in Los Angeles overnight due to a curfew, but protests are spreading across the nation. Survivors and family members of the Pulse nightclub massacre in Central Florida walked through the venue this week. It will be raised and replaced with a permanent memorial.
Well, for me, it's important to go inside because that's where my son died.
The shooting left 49 people dead. This just in, there has been a partial verdict in the retrial of movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. He was found guilty of 2 counts of sexual assault. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
From the downtown LA Law Group Injury Health Studios.
This is Southern California's news.
KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Good morning, I'm Rob Barry Street, 11:03, and night one of the curfew, there's some mixed reaction to it downtown. John Baird has that part of the story.
Before the curfew actually kicked in, dozens of protesters were arrested for failing to disperse. Other people were cited for the curfew violations. Some people feel the curfew isn't really necessary and maybe a little over the top, but not everybody.
I think any way we can stem the issues is the right way to do it. Look at the destruction they're doing to the city, and if we have to control it in that manner, I think it's a smart way to do it. That way nobody gets hurt, and we protect the businesses.
Meantime, some workers from the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters were putting up sheets of plywood around a number of local buildings just in case. George Bocanegra is with the council.
So we're anticipating that these protests are going to continue, so we want to make sure that these businesses are protected over the weekend.
The mayor still wants the feds to stop the immigration enforcement activity and pull the National Guard and the Marines out of Los Angeles. I'm John Baird, KNX News 97.1 FM.
A woman in Hawthorne who is 9 months pregnant said she was hospitalized after being taken into custody by ICE this past Sunday.
I'm going to need you guys to leave. This is private property.
A neighbor gave NBC LA a video of the arrest.
Excuse me, ma'am.
No.
You're interfering with my arrest.
Well, you can take me.
You have no say to stay. No, I have nothing
This
to
is
say.
private property.
Okay, is it your property?
Yes.
Okay, can you show me the documentation? Is it your property?
She said they also detained her husband and a co-worker who are both undocumented.
I was blocking the doors because they were trying to forcefully open them. But I told them they were on private property.
She says she was arrested for allegedly interfering with the arrest, but was not cited. 11:05 and Sabina Mora in the Simpson Chevrolet Traffic Center.
All right, Rob, want to remind everybody that on the 101 freeway, the off-ramps are off limits again today between the 110 and Mission. So you're going to need to take the 5, maybe the 110, or the 10 freeway westbound or eastbound to connect with the 110. If you're trying to get to Alameda, I do see the closure again between Temple and the 101, but that may change. Los Angeles Street is still closed, leading Temple over to Alameda, and portions of Aliso between Los Angeles Street and Alameda looks like that's still blocked off. On the 405 south into the Sepulveda Pass, this crash that was blocking the carpool lane being cleared up. I still see a backup from Victory, and then I got a call about a car that's stuck at Squirrelball on the southbound 405, taking up a middle lane. Thank you, Austin, from Long Beach for that. So I do see extra slowing because of that. The big problem at the moment is the 60. It is a mess. Eastbound, crashed with the semi before Nogales. Westbound, a 4-car smash-up taking up some left lanes also at Nogales. So the drive in both directions, a parking lot, use the 10 through West Covina and over to the 605 or 57 instead.
Mayor Bass says the curfew seemed to work. You talked about it last night.
I will tell you that last night there were over 100 arrests, but they were for curfew violations or unlawful assembly. There was no looting, there was no violence, there was no vandalism. So what I am hoping after last night is that people understand that we are very serious about the curfew and that then they do not arrive tonight.
That curfew is going to return at 8 o'clock tonight. But with the curfew underway in that limited part of L.A., basically the right to free speech is suspended. Bob Brill reports that is the law as it's laid out.
It is one of the rare cases where the First Amendment is set aside as long as there is something which puts that curfew into law for good reason. Defense Attorney Lou Shapiro.
It's very rare that curfews are enacted, and the practical effect is this is the government trying to prevent further violence or rioting that has been occurring the past few nights. And since a curfew is in effect, it allows the police not to wait until somebody does something violent or lights up a Waymo. It allows them to say, just by the fact that you're here, you can be removed for that reason alone. And that is the goal, to remove the protesting and rioting at that night.
If there is no violence, police officers are not attacked or hurt, you could be arrested, cited, and released, and possibly not even prosecuted. But there are extenuating circumstances here, which is why the curfew was put into place. You may luck out, but don't bet on it, because the courts usually side with law enforcement. I'm Bob Brill, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
ICE raids in Ventura County on Tuesday, drawing backlash from local leaders. Congressmember Julia Brownlee and Salud Carbajal say agents were seen near schools, stopping cars, trying to get them onto farm properties in places like Oxnard, Camarillo, and Fort Hueneme. They call the raid cruel and unnecessary. One video posted online shows ICE agents questioning a farm worker near Camarillo. Woman filming it says the agents told her to back off, even asked if she was in the country legally. ICE confirmed the raid and said they were working with other federal agencies out of the LA office. ICE agents raided farms in Ventura County on Tuesday morning, chasing workers to fields in Oxnard. Video posted online shows the workers running as agents tried to detain them.
What can I get
Local leaders say those raids were
I have a mobile order.
causing fear and confusion, not making anyone even ever safer.
Thank you.
The governor continues to blame President Trump for the civil disobedience in L.A.
Thanks to our law enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully, the situation was winding down and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. But that's not what Donald Trump wanted. He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety. He federalized another 2,000 Guard members. He deployed more than 700 active U.S. Marines. These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement.
Newsom said the president inflamed a combustible situation by sending in the National Guard and the Marines. Republican lawmakers in Sacramento still pushing for more money for Prop 36. Democrats approved a one-time $110 million for the law after Governor Newsom left it out of his original budget back in May. Prop 36 allows some serial theft and drug crimes to be charged as felonies, but it also lets judges order treatment instead of prison for people struggling with addiction or mental illness. We talked to State Senator Tony Strickland of Huntington Beach.
$400 million is what we're asking for and ongoing, because actually I think that's just going to be the beginning of our efforts. I do believe that the mental health and drug addiction problems that we have in California are more severe than any of us believe here in the state capitol. And $110 million is really just scratching the surface. I actually think it will be more than $400 million moving forward.
Because most of the money is going to go towards treatment, and that could help ease the homeless crisis. It's 11:11.
Our summer sales event is happening now at Keys Toyota. SoCal's Toyota choice for more than 60 years.
If you're constructing a new home or ADU, build with disaster safety in mind. These days, we see so many catastrophes every year due to weather. From fires to floods, quakes to hurricanes. It's time we all build new with Fab's building system from Taj Innovations. This is a revolutionary way to build, using foam panel technology with structural coatings. No more building houses that can burn up. Fabs is fire-resistant, waterproof, mold-proof, termite-proof, and can handle quakes of a 9.0 magnitude. Fabs is ICC approved in all 50 states too. Fabs building system also cuts building costs by 15 to 30% and will knock your cooling bills down by up to 30%. It's time to meet the highest standard of safety and performance with Fabs building system from Taj Innovations. Visit TajInnovations.com now for your free brochure. That's TAJinnovations.com. Licensed contractors needed.
The Legal Minute with attorney Joseph S. Normand.
Hi, I'm personal injury attorney Joseph S. Normand. After a car accident, pain doesn't always hit right away. One of my clients thought she was fine. No cuts, no bruises. But 3 days later, she couldn't turn her neck and the headache
Okay.
It was whiplash and a brain injury. She called me, got her the care she needed, and the complications she deserved. Pain that shows up days later is still an injury. Neck pain, back pain, anxiety, sleepless nights, it all matters, and so do you. If someone else caused your accident in a vehicle or at a business, don't wait. Call me. I'll get you to the right doctors and fight for every dollar you're owed. Questions? I've got answers. Call me, Joseph S. Normand, 213-747-2000, 213-747-2000, 213-747-2000, or visit normandlegal.com.
This summer at Grocery Outlet, get all the best wines at even better prices. Now through June 17th, you can save an extra 20% off every bottle we've got in stock during our wine sale, with hundreds of wines for every occasion. Don't get caught by the pool without a chilled rosé or your favorite crisp white. And bring along a smooth Cabernet for the summer barbecue or steak dinner. Don't wait. Hurry into your local Grocery Outlet before June 17th and save 20% on every single bottle. Grocery Outlet.
It's time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner, to get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Good morning, I'm Bob Archer. Coming up, a Southern California legend and music icon has died. We're going in depth on the legacy of the Beach Boys' Brian Wilson. Also, another curfew in effect tonight in downtown LA. 11:15 KNX News. Look at traffic now. Here's Sabina.
All right, Rob, going to start out on the 60. I was just looking at the latest details. Now, it's east and westbound, heavy slowing. We have a 4-car crash on the westbound side of the 60 at Nogales. A solid backup from the 57. Traffic on the eastbound side of the 60 is also really heavy approaching Nogales. That's a problem with the semi. They're waiting for a heavy-duty tow truck. So, in other words, I would stay away from the 60 through Hacienda Heights, Roland Heights, into Diamond Bar. Take the 10 instead. That's actually looking to be a pretty decent drive. As far as surface streets, Valley Boulevard is not too bad at the moment, so that's another option. Let's go south on the 605 freeway. Still a bit crowded. This is approaching the 60, leading the 10. The northbound traffic to Rose Hills. Slow to the 60, but better if you're trying to get to the 210 connector. And Ardell called in road work on the northbound 605 at the 105 westbound. I do see that transition road is still blocked off. The problems on the 405, this is northbound, leaving Inglewood at La Tijera. The crash now completely on the right shoulder, but staying busy up ahead, approaching Santa Monica Boulevard. And southbound problem on the 405 at Skirball. That's a car stuck in lanes and not helping the drive. Still very heavy, leaving Burbank Boulevard. Getting past Mulholland, the 405 southbound does pick up if you're trying to get over to the 10. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5 from the Simpson Chevrolet 24-hour traffic center. Little change expected in the forecast over the course of the next few days, thanks to a high-pressure system sitting overhead that will stay with us through Friday. Temperatures today for the coast will be in the low 70s, low 80s for LA and Orange County, low 90s for the valleys, low 90s also for the Inland Empire, upper 90s for the high deserts, and low 80s for the mountains. By the time we head into this upcoming weekend, we are looking at another warm-up headed our way starting Father's Day Sunday, and that warming trend will continue as we head into the start of next week. And that's your next weather forecast. I'm KCAL News meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX News 97.1 FM.
Right now, 74 degrees in Whittier, 76 in Covina, 75 here on LA's Miracle Mile. Music world in Southern California mourning the death of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. His family announced today he has died at the age of 82. Wilson and the Beach Boys introduced the rest of the country to kind of the cool coastal culture of Southern California in the early 1960s. And with us now to talk about Brian Wilson's legacy is Seth Schachter, former Sony music executive and founder of the media consulting company Strat America. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure to be here. This is a sad day for sure.
Absolutely. I am of a mind that Pet Sounds is one of the greatest albums ever recorded, certainly in the 20th century, maybe the 21st as well. But, you know, looking back at that period of music, very heady creativity was going on. You had the Beatles coming out with Revolver, and the Beach Boys saw that, came out with Pet Sounds, and the Beatles saw Pet Sounds, came out with Sgt. Pepper's, and back and forth it went. Was that more competition, or was it inspiration?
I think, you know, it's just thinking about Brian Wilson and his legacy in the band, and obviously all the artists you're mentioning. You know, it's a hard topic to talk about just because these are like enormously creative giants, you know. And I think you know, great artists emulate one another. No one owns chords, and I think they can certainly be inspirations to each other. We sometimes hear about it more publicly when, you know, an artist sues over something that sounds like it, but you know, this was an artist that endured lots of personal pain, you know, within his own family, and that's been pretty well documented. And certainly mental illness, you know, very tough mental illness issues which he really struggled with, and, you know, drugs as well, which were clearly part of his life. And, you know, I how do I put this? That sometimes this combination leads to art that, you know, rises above others. You know, I'm trying to put this in a way that's gentle and authentic. And I think some of those things were enormously influential to other artists, certainly like the Beatles. And, you know, I'm from a different generation, but the influence goes out even to current artists, you know, R.E.M., Weezer, tons of others throughout lots of different genres, not just rock, but pop. And, you know, the guy was an absolute genius creatively for sure. And so I don't know if it was competition or if it was creativity or if it was all the above, but for sure that legacy is mixed amongst lots of artists.
How many people are alive in Southern California today because their parents were listening to the Beach Boys?
I mean, I'm sure
and got together.
It's a great question. I mean, not just from SoCal. I mean, for sure, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I think, you know, our artists of this era, you know, that's the California sound, right? And this was maybe the progenitor of it, you know what I mean? And they had enormous influence, not just in Cal. I grew up in the capital, and I was just looking before we got on, you know, like some of my memories growing up, some of the best were like infused with the Beach Boys. They play on the mall in front of the Washington Monument every July 4th during when I was growing up, and essentially everyone would go, you know, there isn't someone under the sun that I know that didn't like the Beach Boys in some way. They were really representative of California and very, very, very American for sure. So enormous influence, and whatever one's politics are, I think it's clearly bound up in like some type of American musical identity as well, you know?
Seth Schachter, former Sony music executive, founder of the media consulting firm Strat America. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
11:21, time for a live look at your money and Southern California real estate. Here's Bloomberg's Tom Busby.
Well, it's tougher than ever affording a luxury home in Orange County. The typical selling price of one in Anaheim, defined as being in the top 5% of home prices in the area, $5.3 million. That is an average price. The third costliest area in the U.S., according to Redfin. That comes after San Francisco, San Jose. In the past decade, luxury home prices in Anaheim are up 127%. This report is sponsored by Fidelity Wealth Management. Even though mortgage rates are stuck near 7%, mortgage applications shot higher last week, up 12.5%. That's a big turnaround from the week before when they fell. The warehouse retailer Costco is spending big money to put up new stores and fueling stations. $14.5 million for a former Bed Bath & Beyond in Mission Viejo, another $12.5 million in nearby Lake Forest for an area that was once a Regal Cinema. On Wall Street, stocks lost some early steam despite a muted inflation report from May and U.S. and Chinese negotiators reaching a framework on a trade deal after 2 days of talks. But right now, the Dow's down 55 points, the Nasdaq down 128, that's 2/3% lower, the S&P down 26. I'm Tom Busby from the Just One Touch Money Desk on KNX News 97.1 FM.
This is Daniel from Whittier calling. I checked my Waze in the morning just to kind of give me an estimate of the time it's going to take to get there. And it's, I can never really go by that. I only trust you guys, so thank you.
Southern California's news is KNX News 97.1 FM.
Still with the same financial advisor you've had for years? Are you sure your money is working as hard as it could be? It's time for a fresh set of eyes on your finances. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth. We do things differently, and our record of success proves it. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries. We always place your best interest first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. We have fully transparent pricing. The more you make, the more we make. It's that simple. Access a wide range of public and private investment options. All just a virtual call away. Schedule your free virtual consultation now. Call Trajan Wealth today at 310-905-5030. 310-905-5030. Advisors offered through Trajan Wealth and SEC registered investment advisors. Legal and tax planning services are provided by independent law firms. Annuity guarantees are based on the claims capabilities of issuing insurance. CBA in most states. Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Private investing may require.
At California Psychics, we know some people can't read the career warning signs. Like your boss, still not knowing your name.
You, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, man. Just get it done, Carrie.
So talk to California Psychics and receive the career guidance you need. We only connect you with the very best. So guarantee, if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the accident guy.
You're not in Kansas anymore. You're on Pandora.
Disneyland trying to figure out how its monorail is going to work with the new Avatar land plan for California Adventure. The monorail currently runs right through the area where that's being built. But in new concept art, the track is missing. Park officials say the monorail is not going away, but they're still working out how it's going to fit into the design. Construction on the Avatar land set to start in early next year. That is when the Monsters, Inc. ride is going to close to make room. The new land is expected to open around 2028 or 29. Macklemore's home in Seattle was broken into while 3 kids were sleeping inside. The police say 2 men wearing masks and tactical vests broke in just after midnight Saturday. They were armed with bear spray. The woman in the house, identified as the nanny, was sprayed, forced to show the burglars where all the valuables were kept. Children were not hurt. It's not clear if Macklemore was home at the time. It is 11:25, continuing coverage of the protests in L.A. and also how the curfew affected the downtown area last night. That's coming up at 11:30. Right now, traffic is brought to you by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring Water. Here's Sabrina.
All right, Ross, going to go to our test spot on the 60. Now, the heavy congestion continues here. It's a problem with a big rig on its side. The trailer is on its side, 60 eastbound at Nogales, and the far right lane, actually 2 right lanes are blocked off. They're waiting for that heavy-duty tow. Before you get there, we have a problem with a car fire at Hacienda that's in the clearing stages. This is actually on the westbound side, but that's causing a little bit of slowing east and westbound. And then on the westbound 60, before you get to Nogales, there's a 4-car crash. That's in the clearing stages as well, but the backup solid from the 57. So taking the 10 westbound through West Covina instead is going to be a really good idea. to the 405, the southbound delay. So there's a crash on the 405 south and terminus south of 101. That did clear up. But further southbound, there was a car stuck in middle lanes. Looks like it's still a problem, and that's causing extra slowing on the 405 south from Burbank Boulevard all the way through to just before you get to Mulholland. And traffic further up looking better on the 405 to the 10, but the northbound side of the 405 is still slow from before Venice Boulevard to the 10 connector. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source, and their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser bottled at the spring source. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5 from the Simpson Chevrolet 24-hour traffic center.
Morning clouds, afternoon sun. Inland areas stay hot. The beaches stay cooler and cloudier. That's the picture for the next few days. Right now, 74 degrees here on LA's Miracle Mile.
Wow, what a window.
California Deluxe windows.
Potato chip guy?
Yes, custom fit. No broken stucco.
Warranty?
No fine print.
Cost?
30% off our entire order.
Wow. Bedroom windows?
You bet.
Hi, I'm Aaron, founder of California Deluxe Windows. We have been improving homes and marriages for almost 25 years. We custom fit every window and door to your home's exact measurement. Our installation technique is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
Love is in the air. Buy 5 windows, get 1 free during our summer sale. Call California Deluxe Windows. 800-874-9800. 800-874-9800. That's 800-874-9800. Or go to cdwindows.com. Terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
Do you struggle with ugly spider veins or painful bulging varicose veins? Are your unsightly veins keeping you from wearing the shorts, skirts, dresses, or bathing suits you love? There's no reason to let embarrassing veins hold you back any longer. Feel confident again by calling 1-800-WEST-MED. West Medical specializes in state-of-the-art, minimally invasive vein treatments that can help you say goodbye to spider and varicose veins for good. Here's the thing. Varicose veins are caused by broken valves that won't heal on their own, meaning they'll only get bigger, more noticeable, and harder to treat over time. So why wait? Call 1-800-WEST-MED to schedule your free consultation. Most PPO insurance plans, including Aetna, Anthem Blue Cross, United Healthcare, and many others, cover these treatments. Don't let painful, embarrassing veins hold you back. Call 1-800-WEST-MED or visit westmedical.com. Another checkup? Why are so many people getting their puppies? Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness. We are booked solid for weeks. But who can say no to a puppy, right?
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. It's got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
Yeah, for me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
From the Downtown LA Law Group Injury Help Studios.
This is Southern California's news.
KNX News, 97.1 FM.
Good morning, I'm Rob Archer. It's 11:30. Brian Wilson, the creative force behind the Beach Boys, has died. He was 82. Wilson was one of the most influential musicians of his time. Paul McCartney once said, "God Only Knows" was his favorite song, and that it brought him to tears every time he heard it. Wilson's family announced his death this morning. Beach Boys became the soundtrack the summer with hits like "Good Vibrations," "California Girls," "Surfing USA," endless number of songs. Brian was the oldest and the last surviving of 3 musical brothers. The former Sony music executive Seth Shacker says their sound reaches far beyond Southern California.
I grew up in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and I was just thinking before we got on, you know, like some of my memories growing up, some of the best were like infused with the Beach Boys. They'd play on the mall in front of the Washington Monument every July 4th during when I was growing up, and frankly, everyone would go. You know, there isn't someone under the sun that I know that didn't like the Beach Boys in some way. They were really representative of California and very, very, very American for sure.
And when Wilson later toured, he would often end shows with that song that we opened up with called Love and Mercy. Curfew instituted by the mayor of L.A. last night seemed to help tamp down the vandalism and the looting. John Baird reports.
One young woman told me she thought the curfew did make a difference. You think it's good?
Yeah.
You think it's been quiet?
Yeah.
Big difference last night?
It wasn't as loud.
It wasn't as loud. But others questioned whether a curfew was really necessary or whether it would really do much good to stop anybody bent on tagging buildings, breaking windows, or looting stores. And a woman who happens to live on 2nd Street behind LAPD headquarters said police told her to go inside when she tried to walk her dog.
I said, F you. I'm taking my dog to go to the bathroom.
She wasn't having it. She took the dog out anyway.
They surrounded me so we could watch my dog poop, and when I picked up my dog poop, they escorted me back to my door and told me to get inside.
Officers, though, told me the area around the police station, including that street, will continue to be cordoned off even when the curfew ends in the morning.
Federal charges been announced against 2 men accused of throwing Molotov cocktails at officers during the protests. Karen Adams reports.
Charged are Emiliano Galvez, who officials say is in the U.S. illegally and has a criminal record, and Racky Quigwe of Long Beach. Both are now facing 10 years in federal prison if convicted.
This was an attack on law enforcement. Presumably they're motivated by our immigration enforcement efforts and wanting to make a statement, which you can make a statement, but you can't throw bombs or Molotov cocktails. That's not acceptable.
U.S. Attorney Bill Saley says Galvez was arrested during the unrest in Paramount last Saturday after throwing a Molotov cocktail at deputies. Quigwe, he says, was caught with a lighter still in his hand after throwing the explosive cocktail at officials in downtown L.A. on Sunday. And more arrests, he says, are coming.
So let me just be clear. This is just the 2 cases we have been able to charge now. We are looking at hundreds of people. We have video. We have FBI collecting video. We are collecting body cam. We're collecting social media. We're collecting everything. And we're going to take our time. We're going to identify people. Taking them out, saving them, it's not saving them. We're going to identify them, and we will bring charges.
At least 12 people so far have been federally charged since the protests began. On the west side, I'm Karen Adams, KNX News, 97.1 FM.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has revealed how many illegal immigrants have been detained in the L.A. area since they started the raids last week.
There have been 330 illegal aliens that have been arrested as part of these riots in Los Angeles. Criminal convictions. And overall, and this includes arrests of American citizens, there's been 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction-related charges, including the attempted murder of a police officer with a Molotov cocktail.
Leavitt also blasted Governor Newsom and Mayor Batts for what she called failing the citizens of L.A. 7:35 now. To be no more on the Simpson Chevrolet Traffic Center.
All right, Rob, a reminder in downtown Los Angeles that off the 101 freeway between the 110 and Mission, those off-ramps, both sides of the freeway remain shut down, so not a way to get into downtown Los Angeles. And looking at the street closures, I still see Temple is closed now, Los Angeles Street to Center, including Los Angeles Street leaving Temple all the way through to Alameda. So if you're trying to get to Union Station, possibly using north of the 101, Cesar Chavez to Alameda to go that way. Traffic on the 110 is still clogged up, extra slow. This is leaving Adams all the way through to the 101. Traffic on the northbound side of the 5 is going to be a decent alternate if you're trying to leave the East LA interchange to head northbound that route over to Mission. But up ahead on the 110 northbound, as you get closer to Stadium Way, looks like there's some kind of brush fire visible from the freeway. It's not on the freeway. No lane closures, but there's some slowing approaching just before you get to Stadium Way, and then it picks up to the 2 Also want to mention that on the 405 northbound in Inglewood, we still have some activity at La Tijera. The crash has been cleared to the right side, but it's slow approaching, and our 60 remains a mess in both directions. 2 separate crashes near Nogales. East and westbound take the 10 freeway instead.
Curfew in downtown LA. The governor is suing over the National Guard. The Marines have been deployed, and we have tracked the response to the protests, the violence all this week, but there's still a lot of confusion. Now, in terms of law enforcement, who is doing what and what are the rules? Mike Simpson, as today's KNX explains the roles of all these different agencies so far.
Let's start with the LAPD, because that's your primary agency. Crowd control, street-level policing, stop looting, make arrests. They can use gas and rubber bullets. There's rules on when they can use them, and they also enforce the curfew. Sheriff's deputies, generally the same idea, different areas, and the CHP, freeway closures, and crowd control. You know ICE. We've seen other Homeland Security agents involved in all of this, too, but most of the talk is about the National Guard. Usually, they're under the governor's control, but in this case, they've been federalized. The president ordered them here, but that's not a simple power, so there are potential legal issues. There's a lawsuit, the governor sued, there's a hearing set for tomorrow. Now, troops can protect federal property, so they've been outside the federal building in LA and in Santa Ana, but now ICE has shown the Guard protecting agents as they're making arrests. Can they do that? Can they set up a perimeter? Well, that's now part of the court case. The Marines, there's a lot of questions there, but as far as we can tell, they'd operate the same as the Guard. No authority to arrest anybody, but they could detain someone. The experts we talked to hope that even though we have all of these separate lanes, there's at least some kind of communication behind the scenes.
Breaking news
on KNX News 97.1 FM.
And there's the news press event right now. We are hearing from 4 city officials around Southern California talking about the ICE raids and the protests. Let's dip in and listen live.
K-pop, popular for a reason. Every day.
Firsthand that Saturday morning. We share the same anger, sadness, and trauma. Then to see the presence of the National Guard in our city, it only makes things worse and leads to unnecessary escalation. We can and will do better to serve and advocate for our immigrant population. I want to speak directly to the people of Paramount. We see you, we hear you, and we are with you. We acted last night and directed staff to create a special fund that will financially help our immigrant families during this challenging time. And it doesn't stop there. The council and staff are working tirelessly to develop other means of support and assistance, doing more to support our community. We will also be seeking out our residents who have been directly impacted so that we may hear from them and provide direct support. Paramount is resilient. We've been through challenges before, and we will rise together. We're also grateful for the regional collaboration that's happening right now. We cannot face this alone. This is a moment for cities to stand united, regardless of our boundaries, because when one community is hurting, we all feel it. To our neighboring cities, to the county, to the state agency, and to Mayor Bass, thank you for extending a hand to our residents. Your support means the world.
Local mayors speaking out about the situation in Southern California.
Mayor Arturo Flores from Huntington Park.
Thank you so much, Mayor Lemus, for those remarks. Good morning. My name is Arturo Flores. I am the mayor of the beautiful city of Huntington Park. I myself am a combat veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I've served in the theaters of Iraq and Afghanistan in defense of this country and in defense of the Constitution of the United States. Militarization of immigration enforcement has no place in our neighborhoods. The deployment of Marines on U.S. soil is an alarming escalation that undermines the values of democracy. As mayors across this region, we stand united in rejecting fear-based tactics that target immigrant communities and erode public trust. Let me say that one more time. We stand against these fear-based tactics that target immigrant communities and erode public trust. We call on federal leaders to uphold civil rights and end the militarization of enforcement and to pursue humane, community-centered solutions. Our communities are not battlegrounds. Deploying military forces and conducting militarized ICE raids in immigrant neighborhoods is not about public safety. It is about political theater that is rooted in fear. It threatens families, traumatizes children, and corrodes the foundational trust between local government and the people that we serve. I stand shoulder to shoulder with Mayor Bass and with my fellow leaders and fellow mayors here, and any leader who values justice over intimidation. We will protect our residents, we will speak out against unconstitutional actions, and we will continue to build cities where all people, regardless of immigration status, can live without fear. I understand that the deployment of 700 Marines out of 29 Palms, and I believe the unit is 27, have been deployed to the Los Angeles area. I have a message for those Marines who are probably watching. Brothers, I myself have fought in different theaters. I fought wars. And I will tell you this, the people that you are here who have been called foreigners are not foreigners. These are Americans. And when we lifted our hands and we swore the oath to defend the Constitution and to defend this country, that oath was to the American people. It was not to a dictator, it was not to a tyrant, it was not to a president. It was to the American people. And the people that are here in these communities, in the city of LA, and the cities that you'll hear from, are Americans. Whether they have a document or they don't, you're dealing with Americans.
Mayor Arturo Flores there of Huntington Park. Other local mayors standing with Mayor Bass and other local leaders calling for an end to what they're calling fear-based tactics with these ICE raids and the deployment of National Guard and U.S. Marines to Southern California. It's 11:43.
It's the ultimate RV savings throwdown. Battle the RV brands. June 12 through 15th at all Mike Thompson's RV locations. 11 manufacturers competing for your business with heavyweight discounts on motorhomes, travel trailers, toy haulers, and more. Info at MikeThompson.com.
What if the next earthquake hits while you're asleep? What if those cracks in your walls aren't just cosmetic? What if your home isn't as safe as it looks? And what if you could sleep better at night knowing your home is protected? At Golden Retrofit, these are the questions we help LA homeowners answer every single day. We specialize in expert repairs and seismic retrofit. What matters most? If your house has a raised foundation,
alternate. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5 through the Simpson Chevrolet 24-hour traffic center.
Rock and roll lost another one of its great songwriters. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys has died at the age of 82. Beach Boys right here in Southern California. Everybody knows that. They're one of the most prolific music acts of the 1960s. They may not have blown up the way that they did if it were not for Capitol Records executive Nick Venet. Now, he signed the group to the label, produced their albums up to Pet Sounds. His son, also named Nick. Are you a Nick Jr. or just another Nick?
I'm a Nick Jr.
Nick Jr., all right. So anyway, his son happens to work with us here in the KNX newsroom as a production assistant. Nick, tell us how your dad went about signing the Beach Boys, what role Brian Wilson played in all of that, and also what initially did he see in the Beach Boys that made him want to sign them?
You know, he always referred to them as West Coast hillbillies. He thought they were doing this thing that, you know, in some time, and he thought this was it. And he took him in, wanted to buy a demo for $400 of Surfin' Safari. And he had some resistance. He had to go to Alan Livingstone, who ran the label at that time, and say he was hired to do a job and people were getting in the way. And Alan got on the intercom and buzzed the whole building to get out of Nick Venet's way and give him what he wants.
Did he ever tell you that he had any difficulties with Brian Wilson, with the creative genius that he had?
Brian had some demons, and but my dad had a great sensitivity for Brian, and he always maintained that he had signed Brian Wilson, not the Beach Boys.
Now, differentiate that, because part of the Beach Boys was the sound, the vocals, the harmonies, and what have you. So in your dad's view, that was really Brian Wilson.
It was all Brian. Brian was in charge of those harmonies, and he, I often ask people would ask my dad, did you know they were going to be a hit? And he said no, but you could gauge how accessible an act was, and he knew that on a very surface level, it was something that teenagers would love. It was something that was happening at that time, but it wouldn't limit it to that audience, that Brian was capable of making some very sophisticated and innovative harmonies, and your more sophisticated audience would like it. I think that has a lot to do with their long-time success and how much they mean to so many people.
You know, in the 20th century, there are a few albums that stand head and shoulders. They transcend the time. They last into the 21st century. Miles Davis' Kind of Blue is one of those albums. The Beatles, of course, Sgt. Pepper's. One can't argue with that. But also the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds is one of those albums. Did your dad know that Pet Sounds was going to be something that would stand the test of time?
My dad was there. That was Brian out on his own, and he spoke to biographer David Leaf quite a bit, and Brian attributed my dad, mentoring him and helping him get that album out. And my dad had a thing. He never he didn't care if something was a hit. He cared if something was going to be somebody's favorite record. And he wouldn't go in the studio and make anything less that, even if it were 5, 10 people, every one of his records is somebody's favorite. Just so happens Pet Sounds is a lot of people's favorites.
Nick Venet works with us in the KNX newsroom as a production assistant. His dad signed the Beach Boys, and probably we would not have had the Beach Boys without Nick's dad. Nick, thank you for joining us.
Very welcome.
All right, 11:51, and the Trump administration is taking aim at even more colleges. Let's get a live look at your money. Here's Bloomberg's Tom Busby.
Yeah, Rob, it's not just Harvard. The U.S. Treasury now considering changing rules, revoking tax-exempt status for private nonprofit colleges that consider race in their admissions, scholarships, and other areas. That could affect hundreds of schools nationwide. President Trump has accused them of having a left-leaning bias. The NASDAQ, though, down 76, and the S&P is down 11. Cyclic Materials has a startup that's backed by Amazon.com, and Microsoft is planning to build a rare earth recycling plant in Canada. It'll extract those metals from things like old data center hard drives and used wind turbines. And a global beverage alcohol research firm, IWSR, says that sales of non-alcoholic beer up 9% last year, even as total alcoholic beverage sales fell 1%. Non-alcoholic beer. I'm Tom Busby from the Just One Touch Money Desk on KNX News, 97.1 FM.
If you're 55 years of age and older, you probably fear running out of money before you die more than you fear death. That's what the surveys say. I'm Tom Mosley from Right on the Money Show on 1070 AM, from the Right on the Money TV show, from the Wealth Council on Fox Business, and the founder of Mosley Wealth Management. Getting your retirement right on the money can seem daunting. It can seem intimidating, and that's why we invite you to contact us at Mosley Wealth Management and claim your own retirement blueprint. That takes the guesswork and, more importantly, the worry work out of your financial future by having a true plan for income that you can't outlive. And all of this is at no charge to you if you're listening to us right now on KNX. Claim your time with my team and build your own retirement blueprint with us right now. Go to mosleywealthmanagement.com. That's MOSLEY wealthmanagement.com, and get on our schedule and claim your blueprint.
Finally, it's spring again. Time for the birds and bees to do their thing. Oh, and just in case, if your thing needs a little boost in the bedroom, we're here for you. For over 25 years, Boston Medical Group has delivered a safe and effective solution for ED, proven to work when all else has failed. It's called ICP, also known as ED shots or Trimix. ICP use a custom blend of FDA-approved medications specifically formulated for your condition to help restore healthy blood flow where you need it most. In fact, ICP works for 98% of men. You will be ready in just a few minutes, regardless of age or medical conditions. So, if ED pills have failed you, our telemedicine platform now brings this virtually 100% effective solution right to your doorstep. Call today, and you'll receive 10 extra doses of ICP medication for free when you sign up for the standard treatment program. Call 800-896-3100. That's 800-896-3100, or visit bostonmedicalgroup.com.
Thanks, Dad, for all the wisdom you've passed down to me that I promised to start using someday. And now the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Father's Day freebie. Dads get a sleek mechanical pencil free on Father's Day.
Number 4.
Push Pops Pressure Point. Save $40 on a 50-minute deep tissue massage and aromatherapy at Safe Spa.
3.
Billy Guard Down, live July 12th. Get tickets now.
And the number 2.
Extreme Gift Giveaway. Get an HD Eternal Drone when you earn 500 points on your rewards card, the 17th.
And the number 1 reason.
Be Dad's favorite. Take him to Cielo for a 3-course dry-aged ribeye dinner for a special price on Father's Day.
Morongo, the best casino resort in the Southland. Good times.
Mayor speaking out against the National Guard, military being deployed to L.A. for the anti-ICE demonstrations. Margaret's got more coverage coming up after noon. Right now, traffic here, Sabina Moore.
All right, Rob, going to start with some police activity and a pretty serious crash here. Whittier Boulevard near Calzona, causing a lot of congestion on Indiana, on Whittier Boulevard, on Calzona in Boyle Heights. You want to avoid the area. If you normally use Whittier Boulevard instead of the 5 freeway, do not use it heading southbound to Indiana because you're going to get stuck in traffic. A reminder, in downtown Los Angeles, the off-ramps off the 101 freeway will stay shut down again today between the 110 and Mission, so those off-ramps are off limits in both directions. The culvert past the southbound 405 problem at Mulholland looks like it's finally being cleared up. That was a car stuck in middle lanes, but it looks like it's still busy leading Van Nuys, but lanes should be open. And a brush fire closure on the southbound side of the 14 before you get to Escondido Canyon. The right lane is blocked off. That's why it's so slow. CHP was running traffic brakes, and it's definitely busy. Thank you, Bill, for calling in. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5 from the Simpson Chevrolet 24-hour traffic center.
For the next few days, morning clouds, afternoon sun, inland areas stay hot, the beaches stay cooler and cloudier. Right now, 70 degrees in Redondo Beach, 79 in Pasadena, 76 degrees here on LA's Miracle Mile. Margaret is in next. It's 11:57.
When building your new home, have disaster safety in mind and use SAD's building system from Taj Innovations. It's a revolutionary way to build. Using foam panel technology with structural coatings, SADS is fire-resistant, waterproof, mold-proof, termite-proof, and can handle quakes of a 9.0 magnitude.